Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. Going to, I guess you can attempt the fifth try at this, if you will. Attempt a fifth try at this. If I can get this untangled, that being the mic cord. Hold on a second. There we go. But anyway, like I was saying, this is going to be, I guess you could say, a fifth and final attempt, and not to do a review just yet, but a bit of an overview. Look at the pros and cons of WWE 2K14 right now. You have to apologize. I have to apologize too. I'm trying to get over a bit of a cold and a cough. So yeah, I apologize for that. But anyway, you know, WWE 2K14, it came out this past Tuesday, and a lot of people got it on launch day, even before that. And either it was through a store receipt, either it was through a store receipt or a card or an email or a prepaid card or an email. Through either one of those three ways or situations, you got the code to get the Ultimate Warrior. Now, a lot of us did not get that, and we're probably going to have to wait another month or a couple months before we do. He'll probably show up in the Legends pack or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway, a lot of people got 2K14 when it came out this past Tuesday at launch or at midnight release. A lot of us got it a few days later, so some of us do not have access to Warrior yet. We're just going to have to wait. But that's okay. Myself, I got the game on Friday, so I've been enjoying it. I've already created 2 arenas. I've already created several created characters based on myself, based on my 18-year-old nephew, based on my original diva character, Jasmine Powers, the Princess Sally character from Sonic the Hedgehog, as well as the Nostalgia Critic. Now, there are some characters that I did download, but just like before, you might find some characters that might have some glitches. And what I mean is, if you try to use them in certain parts of the game might freeze up. Now, apparently, I'm not the only one that's having this problem either. Apparently, I'm not the only one having this problem. But I'll get into that in a little bit. But let's talk about the pros. Now, the pros, obviously, we're going to start with the graphics engine. The graphics and animation engine definitely seems vastly improved. Not vastly improved, but tuned up from the previous year. You can see that. And here's why you could see that. Because it's a little bit more fluid and just a little bit more fluid and smooth. And here's why. With speculation, rumor, and talk that along with other games like Madden 25 and some of the other 2K titles, WWE 2K14 is being talked about, has been discussed as being brought over to the next gen consoles. That's right. It's being talked about it being brought over to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. That's right. The Xbox One and the PS4 are supposed to be the next destination for WWE 2K14, which would explain why the animation and graphics engine is tuned up with tuned up and is a little finer and a little smoother. So that's a positive right there. Another positive is the fact that we now have 100 slots to work with when it comes to creating our characters. 100 slots. 100 slots. Which is pretty good. So that's a good bonus right there. But again, you got to watch out with what you download as well, because you might run into something that might cause a virus or something, or freeze your game up. But we'll get into that in a little while. But again, that's a positive right there. Another positive when it comes to the creation suite, if you will, another positive when it comes to the creation suite is the ability to create your own custom championship. Now, the last time we had something around this manner was back around 07, 08 or something like that. But back then, I think you were able to put certain pieces of a belt together. Here, it's more along the lines of you're using a painted here it's more along the lines that you're using. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get my wording out here. But here it's more along the lines of using a blank painted canvas. A blank canvas, I should say, to paint on. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like basically what you have here with the Creative Championship is like a blank canvas to paint on. Now, that might sound disappointing to some people, but for right now, I think it's the first step in getting to that point to where we can add in certain pieces on a belt like it's a puzzle and kind of design it our own way. Now, the other disappointment is you only have the other disappointment, but it's a positive, because they're just getting back into this. The disappointment, but positive, is you get 5 blank championship belt designs. You get 5 blank championship belt designs. But now that's a positive. That's the positive right there. And again, they're kind of like a blank canvas that you can paint on. So if you have a created promotion, a created wrestling promotion or league, then you can put your created promotion or league's logo on the belt, like I have. I put my DCWA logo on my championship or my promotion's main title, on its U.S. title with the U.S. flag underneath, on the TV title, and that's about it. The only other championship I made, I had to go to the established championship section in the created title area, in the created championship area with the established titles, and I had to use the women's championship for my DCWA women's title, and that's it. Anyway, yeah, created championship it's a positive step, but it might be disappointing to some because it's only 5 blank templates, 5 blank championship belt canvases to work on. But the positive is you also can mix and match with the established titles just like you did in WWE 13. You can mix and match, recolorize, if you will, the established titles to be the championship of your promotion. So that's a positive, and I know that's something a lot of people are going to do, if not already, with the created championship mode. Now, also, the created arenas has improved. There's no doubt about that. Created arenas has improved. How have they improved? Well, they have, of course, as they have mentioned, 4 new arenas, and most of them are based off WrestleMania arenas. The arena in which I created my new DCWA Raw arena for my promotion's Raw show is sort of a dome-like venue based around the RCA / Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis and the Silver Dome in Detroit, Michigan, or Pontiac, Michigan. So that's pretty cool. My Thunder Arena for my DCWA Thunder show, that venue is based off what seems to be Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. Basically like Bridgeport, Connecticut, Atlantic City Boardwalk, that kind of stuff. That kind of venue it's based off of. And that's pretty nice. The other one, I'm assuming, is a new outdoor arena. And I think if there's a fourth one, If not, I'm probably wrong. But the other one I know of is a new outdoor arena from what I can tell. And possibly, if there's another one, I got to look again, it's based off MSG. So those are the new arena types. Very nice, very well done to the best of their specifications. The staging, it does have new stages based around recent staging designs of WWE, Extreme Rules, Raw 2011, WrestleManias, you name it, they got the arenas. Or they got the staging areas. And that's cool. They got the WrestleMania arenas in there too. WrestleMania stages in there too. So a lot of that's been added in. They even, I think, have the NXT arena the NXT arena stage in there as well. So a lot of that's pretty cool. And you can use any of those designs for your CPVs or your weekly or bi-weekly created promotional shows. I used the Extreme Rules stage design for my Raw show and the Live Tours stage design for my Thunder show. So that's pretty cool. But those are vast improvements, and they're very nice. Now, the creating a superstar or diva, it's still pretty much the same, but you could tell that they've added a few new items for facial and body-wise. You could tell they've added some new items with clothing and attire. So that's really cool. As well as when you go to the application form, it's added in the social account. Now, you can add in your real account, your real Twitter account, or you can just make one up. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have done that. So that's a nice thing as well. Now, another positive so far is the online play. The online WWE Online or Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, the online situation always seemed to be a problem with people. It's like in previous games, you had to wait to a certain time of day, whether it was through the day or into late at night or throughout the day. You had to wait to certain moments or certain time frames and test your luck to see if you were able to get online. For me, a majority of the time in previous games, I had to wait till at least at night around the 9 o'clock Pacific time zone to get online and do some online play or go to community creations. I had to wait that long, and that wasn't good. Apparently, they have improved on that because now, so far, from what I've seen, I have yet to have a problem with online play. I have yet to have a problem playing a match. I have yet to have a problem going and downloading stuff from community creations. I have yet to have a problem. So that's pretty nice. They've got that improved. It's pretty nice that they got that improved. But along with that positive, there is a bit of a negative, and that's you got to be careful, and that is you have to be careful about what you download, whether it's an arena or majority of the time a superstar / diva or whatever. You got to make sure that whatever you download probably doesn't carry a virus, because if it carries a virus or something like that, it will cause a certain section of your game to freeze up. I'm not lying. Now the online, again, though, is vastly improved. I'm not sure if that's 2K Sports or that's 2K Interactive that's behind that, or Ukes or WWE Games, but whoever's behind it has vastly improved it, and I thank them for that. Now, the other positives are in some of the game modes. For example, Elimination Chamber. For the previous few years, we were never able to do a Divas Elimination Chamber. Guess what? This year, we can. We can do an actual Divas Elimination Chamber match, which is what I have been waiting for quite some time. The last time we were able to do it was, I think, about 09 or 08, or around that time frame. 08 or 09 or something like that. That was the last time we could do a Divas Chamber match. Now we could do it again. And you don't have to worry about hacking in to a certain area or hacking and doing all that for right now, because right now you could do the Divas Elimination Chamber match. So if you have a created promotion, like my DCWA promotion, or if you have a creative promotion like WDEF, or Cause Champions League, CCL, or AWF. If you have one of these promotions and your main focus sometimes is the Divas division in your creative promotion, you feel I need a match that's going to blow off a lot of stuff in my Divas promotion story-wise, here you go. The Elimination Chamber. Perfect. Now, that is great. That is perfect to see that happen. I haven't tested it yet, so hopefully there's no issues. But that's good to see. I'm not sure about a Rumble match yet, which I don't think they did, but we'll see about that too. I mean, you have 100 slots. I think they might be able to squeeze it in, but I haven't tested it yet. Now, those are good pros right there. A lot of the pros. In tournament mode, you also have 2 new additions to tournament mode. Along with King of the Ring, you also have Gold Rush Tournament and Tag Team Tournament. Gold Rush Tournament allows you to compete for a chance to compete for a championship against the champion, or to crown a new champion for a new championship. And that's good. Tag team tournaments probably the same way, which is all good. Now, the other big positive is the 30 years of WrestleMania. It's great that they're focusing on certain individual moments in WrestleMania. And they do it by chapter. Like the chapter I'm at right now is Hulkamania Runs Wild. Hulkamania Runs Wild. I've done the first match, but I'm still trying to work out that next match, which is the steel cage match. Every time it seems I'm getting ready to win, Bundy gets back up and pulls me down. Or I have to jump down and beat him up again. It's like I can't win. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's a huge positive because it allows you to unlock a lot of things if you don't want to do the accelerator. Now, within the WrestleMania mode, or within the 30 years of WrestleMania, you have the streak mode. Now, the streak mode is kind of like an arcade game in its sense. It's like you have it's like whatever your score is going to be, it's basically depending on whether you defeat the streak or you defend the streak, your score is going to jump up and it's going to be the high score. So it's basically like I said, it's basically like an arcade game. You try to beat the score you had before. And believe me, when I finally defeated the streak, it took me 6 tries. 6 tries to finally beat The Undertaker and defeat the streak. But those are great positives in the 30. But that is another great positive, along with the 30 years of WrestleMania mode. That's a great positive. Now, let's get to the cons, the negatives right now that can and probably will be fixed. Because 2K Sports, 2K Interactive has put up a website that lets you acknowledge to them what's wrong and what needs to be fixed. So, what's some of the negatives? Well, one of the big negatives for me comes out of tournament mode. The negative out of that is when you try to use the Gold Rush tournament, and I'm not sure if this is the same with King of the Ring or Tag Team, but right now the biggest problem I have is anytime I choose a superstar, whether it's my own created star or someone I downloaded, another established star's music plays over my created character's music. Yeah, my created character's music. It's like I could choose music from my user playlist, for my created character, like my own self-created character or my Jasmine Powers created diva character. And what happens is instead of that music being played, it gets overlapped by something else. Yeah, it gets overlapped. And that's not good. Even if a character doesn't have music, it's silent. There's 2 characters I downloaded that are from one guy that are completely silent. They have nothing, they have no music whatsoever. Unless it was music he had on his user playlist. But still, these 2 characters have no music. And I put them in a tournament recently. And what happened was there was music that started up for no reason. And you know what? It's not just the created, and you know what? It's not just the user playlist either. It's established music as well. Established music overlaps itself. It's like one time I was playing as a created character, and I think it's the Jasmine Powers character, and she's supposed to have Goldberg's theme, right? Instead, she comes out and it's a mixture of Goldberg and Jericho. That's what it was. And I'm thinking, what the heck is this crap? So that's something that's been bugging me, and I'm sure bugs a lot of people. It's the fact that needs to be fixed. Another thing, speaking of tournament mode, is if you use a downloadable character, like I used the Apocalypse character from somebody. Somebody created Apocalypse from X-Men. Or Darkseid. No, it was actually Darkseid, not Apocalypse. It was Darkseid from Superman that I used. When you use that character, when I used that character in the finals of a Gold Rush tournament match, the thing froze up. It was loading and it was loading up and it froze. I was thinking, what the heck is going on? So it loaded up and it froze. And I'm thinking, what is this? So I had to reset and reset and reset. And finally I just said, screw it. I'm just going to simulate the match. And thankfully, the created character I made of the Nostalgia Critic won the match and won the TV title. So that's a positive. The negative was it froze up. But what's interesting about this is when I did a Divas Gold Rush tournament, and I used my 2 created characters of Jasmine Powers and Princess Sally, nothing froze up in the finals. It's like you got to use your own characters to make sure nothing freezes up. It's like, and basically it's like it's okay if you use Darkseid. It's like, not Darkseid, but it's okay if you use downloadable characters in the first few rounds. But when you get to the finals with them, poof, forget it. It's either simulate or crash. So that's one thing they need to work on, is the tournament stuff. They need to work on the overlapping being fixed, and they need to work on the freezes being fixed. That's what they need to work on. Another disappointment, another con to this, is the limitation of creations when it comes to your created title. Now, I can understand, like I mentioned in the pros, that the positives was you had some blank championships to work with, like blank canvases that you paint on. The problem with that is, though, with those blank canvases, you're only limited to 5. You have a whole peripheral of championships in the already established titles to customize or basically recolorize to be your own created promotions titles. You have a whole peripheral of those. But when it comes to custom make, it's like, whatever. You only get 5. And to me, that's something they need to improve on in the next year or so. You need to take that next step that I mentioned earlier and either add in as many created canvases, if you will, blank canvases of championship belts next year, or you need to take that next step and let us just build our own title from scratch. That's what they need to do. Again, it's a positive, like I mentioned earlier, that we're able to design our own titles and not worry about that. The negative is we only have 5 to work with, and that's bad. And that's very bad. That needs to be improved on, folks. Another negative, and this is something that a lot of fans are talking about, is superstar attire. Now, it seems that, now I haven't done this yet because I don't ever really change things up about the superstars whatsoever. But apparently some people with the PS3 version or the Xbox with a PS3 version and maybe even an Xbox 360 version are having problems when they try to alter the attire of a character. One person said in a message board, I think it was at GameFAQs message board, they said that when they tried to do the second altered attire, when they tried to create the second altered attire, when they would finish and try to save up, it would freeze. So yeah, it would freeze up on the second attire. You couldn't do anything. It was useless. The second alternate attire for superstars or divas is useless according to this one person. So if that's a problem for PS3 and possibly Xbox 360 users, that's a problem that needs to be addressed and needs to be patched up. Now, those are some of the negatives right there. Those are some of the negatives that need to be fixed, and they need to be patched up immediately. With those exceptions, overall, though, the game is pretty decent. And like I said, the only problem is if you want to do Gold Rush Tournament or King of the Ring Tournament or whatever, to get to the finals, you're going to have to use your own created characters until they work this out, until they patch this up. So, hopefully they do that. Now, before I go, there is one more negative when it comes to creation that I think a lot of people have noticed. And that is the create an entrance video. That's right, the create an entrance video is no longer. It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. And here's what I mean. In the previous 2 games, you were able to create your own little entrance video, your own little Titantron. Well, that's gone. That's no longer an option. I mean, you get the backgrounds and everything that they would show you in which your character would appear in front of, but that's all you get. The only thing they added to those backgrounds, like let's say mine's the American Patriot background, all they've added is like the American flag waving in the background, and that's it. Everything else is just the background. And that is, to me, a negative that they need to address next year. If you're going to have this game next year released, not just on the current gen consoles like PS3 and Xbox 360, but on the same day released on PS4 and Xbox One, then you need to address that issue right there, because you're going to have more space, you're going to have more power, if you will, overall. You're going to have more power overall that you'll be able to add as much onto the disc as you can. So if I'm 2K, so if I'm 2K Interactive, if I'm Ukes Interactive, and if I'm WWE Games, these are issues. That's an issue I address for next year, along with the created championship, customization, and all that. So those are issues I address next year. But that is a negative. The only positive out of that is you can mix and match the Titantron and the Minitron. Like for my nephew, for his created character, for my nephew's created character, I gave him the Shield's Titantron, and I gave him Christian's Minitron, and that's it. That's a positive right there. Again, the negative, ladies and gentlemen, is you cannot make your own created entrance video anymore with your character in the video, which is a disappointment. Now, overall, though, these issues that I mentioned, these negatives, these cons, if you will, are just things they need to work on. They need to patch up in the next few months, maybe with the first DLC pack and all that. They need to start patching these issues up soon, quickly and soon, because people do not spend $60, or if they get a plan, about $70 for a game that in certain areas of that game it's going to screw up, it's going to mess up, and it's going to piss people off. Okay? It's going to piss people off. They're not going to like it. They're not going to enjoy it. So if I'm 2K Sports and I want the support of the people behind me, because I'm one of the better publishers and platformers, whatever, out there, then I address these issues as quickly as possible. I apologize for the inconveniences, and I make sure that this never happens again. So, overall, those are the pros and cons of WWE 2K14 right now. Again, this is not a review because I have not yet finished all the game, or at least the 30 years of WrestleMania. Again, this is not a review. This is just basically looking at the pros and the cons of WWE 2K14. WWE 2K14. So that's about it. Then I will give a full review when I'm done with the 30 years of WrestleMania, and I have a decent sized roster. So until then, guys, I'll talk to y'all later about 2K14 at that time. But until then, peace out. God bless. Comments are welcome.